The way animals are constructed and built, it's awe-inspiring, and partly because I'm a very visual person, so morphology, I find it to be beautiful in a way that art is beautiful. I had, since I was very young, just a particular interest in reptiles. Really just an aesthetic thing. I can't explain it. I just always liked them. When a lot of lizards feed, they're using their tongues to capture prey, not their jaws, not their teeth. And they're using their tongues to manipulate the food when it's in the mouth. And I just began to realize if I wanted to understand feeding function, I needed to understand something about the tongues. When I was just a beginning graduate student, I was talking to another young member of the department, and he said, "Oh, do you know what you're going to study?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm going to work on lizard tongues." And he burst out laughing. So I realized at this early stage that I'm going to have to explain to people why this is interesting. I see lizard and snake tongues as being my Darwin's finches. They're this incredibly variable system, and we can start understanding the diversity in terms of how one lineage optimized the sensory function of the tongue. And this other lineage, they've optimized the feeding function of the tongue. You look at other lineages and you find really interesting compromises where they try to do both functions, and that's exactly what we're trying to understand. We're trying to understand the basis of diversity. When you are interested in the functional aspect, it typically happens so fast you can't see it. Finally, we got to the place where video now, the video resolution and frame rate is astonishing. So it just opened a whole new world on this behavior I was interested in. And so anything that comes across into my view, I try to put in front of a high-speed camera. You see things that you had no idea were happening, things that were unpredictable. I've been studying specifically how chameleons are able to hold on to their prey so effectively. People have thought it was pretty much just stickiness, but what I've learned is that they actually, with their tongues, are able to wrap around and grasp the prey item. It looks like a pair of lips, or maybe the tips of an elephant trunk. It's astonishing. There are salamanders that don't actually project the tongue, but just have this very soft, compliant blob in the mouth. And it's very dramatic. It just kind of goes blah. It's so soft and gooey looking. It's bizarre. It contacts the prey item, and right at the point of contact, then the tongue surface begins to fold into a vertical crease. And so it gets pinched between two surfaces. It's never been described before. We just had some tadpoles in the lab because we were actually studying feeding in larval salamanders, and the larval salamanders would eat tadpoles. So they were swimming around in a tank, and I was just sitting there staring at them, and I saw the tadpole swim really fast up to the surface of the water. It just swam up and swam away, and then a little bubble came out of its mouth. I couldn't figure out what it had done, so, well, it turned out it was breathing air. And that wasn't so shocking. I mean, it's actually unknown to many people that tadpoles have lungs and breathe air. Most of them do. But what turned out to be particularly interesting was the way they were breathing air. I assumed it was a well-known behavior. But you know, you have to keep in mind that things like high-resolution, high-speed video haven't been around that long. So people have been studying tadpoles for a long time, but they didn't have the benefit of these tools. And so it turns out this was a novel behavior that no one had ever seen before. And that single, completely chance observation led to a whole branch of research and a series of publications. It's the kind of thing that you can discover by visualizing something, slowing it down, seeing it close up, and when you're lucky, you just discover something completely new. Research is a very creative process. It's challenging, it certainly is not always rewarding, but when you see something so unexpected or you understand something that eluded you, they are real moments of, real highs. And every day, it's a possibility that you're going to discover that next thing.